Hello, and welcome to Fairies and Folklore, generously supported by Heritage Music Studio Texas and the law firm of Cranjack, Tripodi, and Partners.
Once upon a time, when giants and dragons still roamed the earth, and mankind knew better than to think itself supreme, a poor man and his wife had a son. They were so poor, however, that they could find no one to stand as godfather for the child. The man decided to try his luck in the next town and set out. Along the way, he met a beggar.
"Please, sir, a crust of bread."
The poor man did not have much food, but he shared what he had.
"Bless you, sir."
"Where are you bound?"
"I'm seeking a godfather for my child, should the worst come to pass. Only I'm so poor, no one's willing to take on the burden."
"If that is all, then I will help you. I could give the child nothing, but as you have helped me, I will help you."
The next day, the child was christened, and his name was Ferdinand. Now, Ferdinand was a quiet, hard-working boy who should have been well-liked by the other children. But alas, his poverty and ragged clothes made him an easy object of ridicule amongst them. One day, all the children were bragging of the gifts their godparents had given them, each claiming that their gift was the best. When it was Ferdinand's turn to share, and it was discovered that he had received nothing, the children laughed and teased him so cruelly that the tears ran down his face. When he arrived home, his parents could see he had been crying.
"Whatever is the matter, son?"
As Ferdinand recounted his story, he burst into fresh tears, saying, "Oh, how I hate being poor! I wish I could be rich! Did my godfather really leave me nothing?"
"Well, perhaps not nothing. He left you this key, which he instructed me to give you on your 18th birthday.
"But what does it open?"
"That he did not say, but he said everything inside would belong to you."
Now this pleased Ferdinand greatly, and he spent countless hours dreaming of his future treasure. Finally, his 18th birthday arrived, and he begged his parents to let him search for his gift and make his way in the world. They agreed, and he set out. He had journeyed for several days, hiring himself out for various odd jobs, when one evening he came upon a fox caught in a trap.
"Please, sir, set me free before the hunter arrives. I have 4 little ones at home."
Moved with pity, Ferdinand set it free.
"Oh, thank you, sir. I'm Simeon, your humble servant. How can I ever repay you?"
"Well, Mr. Fox, do you know the door that this key belongs to?"
Let's have a look. Oh, my. Where did you get this? It's a very special key."
"It was a gift from my godfather."
"Your godfather is a very rich man. Follow me, and I will take you to what you seek."
They walked a long while and went deep into the forest. At last they stopped by the side of a hill. Hidden under centuries of growth of vines and gnarled branches lay a weathered, beaten old door. Holding his breath, Ferdinand turned the key in the rusty lock and stepped inside. There, in the middle of a large room, stood a magnificent horse. The animal was pure white, a noble creature with a snowy mane and the strength of iron. Over a golden saddle hung the finest clothes of silk. In his new attire, Ferdinand cut quite a dashing figure, and there was no horse in all the land that could match his for strength or speed. So it was not long before he attracted the attention of the king, and became quite an invaluable messenger for him, bringing him news of distant lands faster than any of the other riders. At the palace, Ferdinand was well liked and quite happy, but the king's advisor was jealous of Ferdinand's success and feared him. Flattering Ferdinand and plying him with wine, the advisor drew from him all sorts of stories of his great exploits, encouraging his pride so that Ferdinand quite forgot his humble origins and talked more than he should have. Then the advisor went to the king.
"Ferdinand boasts that he is the greatest of your messengers, and that there is no task he cannot perform. He must be taught a lesson." "Quite right,"
said the king.
What should we do then?" Send him to bring back the princess, and if he cannot, may he be banished forever.
The king's only child had been kidnapped long ago by a wicked witch.
Quite right. It shall be so.
When Ferdinand heard his task, he was distraught.
It is impossible. Better for me to have remained poor and humble than to be banished or killed by a wicked witch.
But he made ready for the long journey, and shortly afterwards set out. Now the journey was long, and Ferdinand was forced to hunt for food. Spotting an animal he was about to shoot when he stopped and cried out,
Simeon, old friend, is that you? You haven't aged a day.
"Begging your pardon, sir, but I don't believe we've met. Who are you, and how do you know my name?"
Why, it's Ferdinand. Did I not once rescue you from the snares of a hunter?
The fox bowed low.
Ah, yes, I know your name, honored sir. It was not me, but my father whose life you saved. He is old Simeon, and I'm called young Simeon. It seems my family is once again in your debt. How can I be of service to you?
Ferdinand explained his dilemma.
It is rumored that the castle is guarded by a giant with the strength of 100 men.
"Ah, I know this giant. If you listen to me, I will save you." So they set off, and on the way, young Simeon gathered together two of his animal friends, Henry the Hare and Rennie the Raven. Together they went to the castle. Soon, the giant's challenge rang out.
How goes there?
My name is Ferdinand, and I've come to free the noble princess.
Many have tried, but none got by me. I'm going to gobble you up.
What? You don't want to eat me? I'm not nearly as tasty as this wonderful horse. What? No, you don't want to eat me. I'm not nearly as tasty as that fabulous fox.
"I beg your pardon?" "No, Mr. Giant, I'm not nearly as delicious as my friend the hare."
How can you say that? I'm far too small to make a difference to a great hunger like yours, sir.
Well, I have to eat someone. The witch says I'm supposed to eat anyone who comes here asking for the princess. Besides, now I really am hungry.
My dear sir, do you mean to tell me there's a wicked witch in the castle?
Of course.
Of all the delectable delights, have you ever eaten a witch?
Well, no.
What? Why, witches are a great treat.
But how can that be? She's so withered and skinny.
Naturally, my dear fellow. She uses magic to look unappetizing. It's a natural protection.
Besides, a little crunch is a nice texture.
Really?
And what do you want?
I'm going to gobble you up.
What? No, you can't. Ah!
Now, while our friends were discoursing about the details of delicate, delectable dining with this grey gargantuan Goliath, Rennie the Raven roamed silently, secretly searching the castle for the princess. He found her just in time, for as the giant was whetting his appetite with this wily, wicked witch, he soon discovered that he had been terribly, treasonably tricked, for this witch was not so appetizing as he had been led to believe. But by the time he realized this, Ferdinand and his merry band were long gone. Ferdinand's return with the princess won him even more fame, and it was rumored that they soon would be married. But Ferdinand's rival once again plotted against him. He had not been idle in Ferdinand's absence, but had discovered the truth of Ferdinand's humble origins.
Sire, it's not right for a common beggar to be made a prince. It would dishonor your noble kingdom. Quite right. Of course.
But the princess did not wish to marry her father's advisor, and so declared, "I will only marry the man who travels to the end of the earth to bring back my love, which I have hidden in the trust of another. Whoever finds it and brings it safely home will be my husband." Both suitors set off immediately. Now the king's advisor was a wizard, and he learned through magic arts where the treasure lay. He went there at once and discovered an old man waiting for him.
"So you've come for the princess's love? And what have you brought to trade for such a prize?"
I offer you gold, power, and honor, old man. Unfathomable riches shall be yours if you give her love to me.
As he spoke, He conjured heaps of jewels, rings, and pearls, which he lay before him.
So, you think you can pay for love? You fool! You've taken the short road by magic, but it will not avail you. Your gift is rejected. You will stay a prisoner until you learn better.
What? It cannot be. No! No!
Now, Ferdinand's journey was much longer. He had traveled for nearly a year when, sitting and eating his lunch by the river, he noticed a fish lying on the bank.
Poor thing. There you go. Back in the water.
Oh, thank you, sir. How can I ever repay you?
Could you tell me where I am to find the princess's love?
Oh, sir, such a prize as that is hidden where only the searcher can find it. I am sorry.
Discouraged, Ferdinand moved on. He searched high and low, but to no avail. Finally, after searching for more than 2 years, he arrived at the spot where his rival had met his fate. He saw the same old man who said to him,
Greetings, Ferdinand. I knew you'd find your way here eventually.
Do you know me, sir?
You look so much like your father. It was not hard to see. My, how you've grown.
You knew my father?
Of course. Did he never tell you of your godfather? But I am not the reason you are here. What have you brought to offer in exchange for the princess's love?
Sir, through your gift, I have received many wonderful things and been given money, honor, and power. But none of these are fit to offer for the love of a woman. I offer instead my heart, my devotion, and my life.
The old man smiled.
You've answered well, and so you are worthy to gain her love if you can.
And so saying, he presented Ferdinand with the small treasure chest that contained the love he sought. Now the king's advisor had secretly watched Ferdinand's interview with the old man by using his magic, and managed to sneak away with the help of his wicked arts. And so he caught up to Ferdinand while he was sailing back home. When Ferdinand was asleep, his rival bound him in magic chains, quietly stole the chest, and threw Ferdinand's body overboard. He then returned to the palace with his prize, bringing news that Ferdinand had perished on the journey. Distraught, the princess asked that the marriage be delayed for a year and a day, while the kingdom honored Ferdinand's memory.
Quite right. It shall be so.
When Ferdinand awoke, he was lying on the shore, soaked to the skin. He did not remember being rescued. He did not remember much of anything.
What happened?
Dear friend, today I've repaid my debt to you.
It was the fish which Ferdinand had rescued.
Thank you, my friend. Oh, how can I ever repay you? Now, I must get home.
Ferdinand returned as quickly as he could, and learned upon his arrival in port that the princess was to be married that very day. Knowing he could not arrive at the palace in time, he sought out his friend the hare.
There is no time to be lost. You must run to the palace and tell the princess that I am alive. Tell her that her love was stolen from me by that wicked magician.
Now the hare is a tiny creature, but there is no one faster, and he darted through the crowds with ease. When the news was heard, there was a great uproar. The princess said, "We will soon see to whom my love belongs. My true lover can open the chest by answering the riddle inscribed on the lock." For the first time, the advisor looked closely at his prize and noticed the tiny inscription upon the golden lock. "Name me first the only blade, sharpened by use but better stayed. Then, if you can, tell me the mount, that man climbs quicker than comes down. And finally, with words impart the key to a gentle, loving heart." I need not tell you the magician had no hope of solving this riddle. But when Ferdinand arrived, he said joyously, "The first I learned in my youth. How well I remember the scars left by the tongue. The second I learned in my arrogance, when I boasted of my exploits. How easy to ascend the mountain of pride, but how difficult and painful to come down. I learned the third in my poverty, for though I had little growing up, my parents possessed this key and counted it among their richest treasures. It is humility. And so Ferdinand was married to the beautiful princess, and the advisor was banished. Ferdinand guarded his wife's love well, and in return, she guarded his. I'm happy to say that neither ever lost it again. Oh, how truly he spoke who said long ago, "Blessed are the poor." The end.